You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Lost Girl After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Lost Girl After Show.
Hey there, Lost Girl fans. You know what time it is. Right place, right time. This is the Lost Girl After Show here on AFTERBUZZ TV. Talking about Season 4, Episode 13, Dark Horse. I'm Matt Lieberman. Joining me as always, fantastic and talented Miss Yael Tygiel.
Hello, everyone.
And we have a very special guest. Ksenia Solo is here.
Hey, guys.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, it's a real blast to meet you, and obviously you're a fan favorite, and it's incredibly lucky that we have you tonight, because I'm sure the fear on everyone's mind is, will we never see you again?
Yes.
Now, I know that Lost Girl is about to head back into production for Season 5. Can you say definitively whether or not we'll see you next year?
Unfortunately, I cannot answer that question.
Okay, it's a very fair question, but of course, on Lost Girl, maybe not every death is final. We can't say for sure. So we will approach it for now as a very sad occasion. Either way, it's sad. Even if you could come back to life, a death is sad.
Yeah.
And it's honestly, it speaks a lot to the quality of this season that we are getting so many tragic character deaths. I feel like the stakes have never been higher.
Yeah.
You know, the world has been in jeopardy before, but one of the things that I think this season did so well is not only making the storytelling more complex, but raising the character stakes and making it far more about their relationships than, say, more a story of the week. I felt like all the writing staff really upped their game this year.
Yeah, I agree with you. I enjoy the show the most when we do go darker and we do focus on the relationships, because they're so special and complex. And so when all the focus is on that, that's when it's my favorite.
We've been saying this is definitely our favorite season. I think that they have really taken this story and given the fans everything they wanted. They said, we want to know more about this. And they were like, oh, okay, here you go.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad you guys feel that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's like we got boatloads of answers just about the world. You know, like even little things like Trick's involvement in, you know, the formation of Light and Dark, and really hearing about sort of his darker side that even he forgot about.
Yeah.
Is a huge moment. You know, seeing him and Tamsin have their first interaction when he forces her to not take Raynor to Valhalla. Huge moment. It's lots of little bits like that, as well as, you know, taking the story in a darker direction, making things more personal for Bo, taking Kenzi away from her at this stage in the game is a really bold move, and it honestly, it makes her more dangerous. Kenzi is someone who has always brought her down to earth, maintained her connection to her humanity that she thought she had. To not have her around, I honestly don't know what to expect from her, especially after getting all this dark energy from her father in the final moments. I feel like I'm way front-loading this.
You jumped way ahead.
I know. So let's jump back. Can we settle?
Let's go back. Let's
Are we
go back.
comfortable?
Okay.
Cool. So we open on Bo and Raynor. They're trying to figure out what to do. The Puripus is on his way. He literally just forced this knight to barbecue herself. We're not happy. It's just, we're not. So Bo and Raynor take their troubles to the doll. They meet with Trick and basically demand the answers that he still hasn't given. And Trick is obviously, he's not happy to see Raynor, never happy to see Raynor, and stunned that Bo knows what the Puripus is. And like in this scene, he's saying he has no idea who Bo's father was ever. Like, he's been saying that the whole time. We've always thought he was lying. I mean, is he telling the truth?
Well, I think he follows it up with, here's why I don't know. Your mom was, stuck and I didn't see her for many years, so that happens.
Right.
But I think that he really didn't know, and I think that, it's one of those things where we'll never get to see him and we'll move on because there are much more important things at stake.
That's true. Yeah, namely.
Who?
Yeah. So let's get into kind of where Kenzi's at in this episode. At the end of last episode, she told Bo she wanted her to unclaim her, and she kind of disappeared. We were worried that she was just gone, and that she wouldn't come back. Why is she sticking around? The first time we see her, she's in Ebony's bedroom.
Yeah.
Was she going to look for Lauren to say goodbye, or what was happening there?
I think in her moment of weakness and being lost and just packing her bags and leaving her entire world behind, one of the first things she did is she went and had a drink to soothe the pain and the sorrow. And yeah, I think she was going to look for Lauren, and here she stumbles upon, this mess and this very cryptic painting and blood, and luckily Dyson, runs in just in the right moment, and the journey begins from there.
Yes. Now I have to ask this question. So
Do it.
At the beginning of the season, when Bo had been unwritten from history, Dyson and Kenzi were having a relationship, which was like fun for the audience to see, but also incredibly weird. And I want to know how much of that does she remember? Do she and Dyson remember? Was that ever said specifically by the writers, or did you play it that way?
I remember filming the episodes after the season premiere, and anytime Chris and I had a scene together, we'd be like, wait, is this awkward? There was one moment where he went to put his hand on my shoulder and decided against it. So we tried to play it.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things, I don't think it was that important for the writers, the editors, when putting these episodes together. It wasn't that important to keep those moments in.
Yeah.
But we definitely thought about it because it was such a huge, bizarre thing that we had to play, and so we were wondering how that affected us. But
it comes off in the show, like little moments, like in last episode where Kenzi and Dyson are obviously having an argument. We don't hear Dyson's side of it, but you storm off. And we assumed that was her trying to tell him to kill Massimo for her or help her out with this, but it felt intimate. And maybe that's the viewers putting something on top of it, but if that was intentional, it reads.
Interesting. I mean, I think they have a very special bond, and they've been through, hell and high water, and especially with not having Bo there, that was such a kind of, what's the right way to say it? Such an epic thing that changed everyone's dynamic. So they have a special bond. That's all I can say. And they always have, I think, from the very beginning.
So it's safe to assume that the fans aren't going to get to see them back together as much as we loved it that one time.
I don't think so.
Well, at this point, he's kissed everyone except Lauren.
He's just a big old sloot, is what he is. So it was just my turn,
Yeah.
No,
Is he going to continue that round, or?
I'm sorry, Chris Holden-Ried.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna
right.
go that way.
Okay.
I thought I'd ask for the fans.
It's a good call. So we're just preparing for the arrival of the Puripus, the Solvat?
Sinvat. The portal.
The Sinvat, the portal. It's wide open. We saw it bust open at the end of last episode. And we're getting ready to fight him. Meanwhile, we have Massimo, who's swallowed the origins. I know.
God.
Just
Stop.
Listen. Just because
Buddy.
mommy didn't love you,
Yeah.
doesn't mean you need to just run around messing with our favorite people.
Not okay.
Yeah, you're not a fae. You're just collecting all their stuff, hoping
Just
that
being greedy
But if
is what
she
he
still
is.
had her powers, she would be so proud of him.
No, she would not be so proud of him. He's like a little toady. Like that's the thing.
Is so toady.
He's not a bold murderer. Okay, Ebony respects bold, bloody
This is
conquest.
a mama's boy, whiny, you know, just a little
He's
girl
more
is what he is.
exactly. He's more Buffalo Bill than say Conan the Barbarian. Yeah, he's in his basement fiddling with his toys, being immortal. God.
What did you say about when we first heard him speak after he kidnapped Lauren? You were relating his intonations to another character.
I can't even remember.
He was talking about his precious, really.
Oh yeah, he was very Gollum-y. I mean, like, here's the thing: it's a hard thing to play to, you know, be as incredibly emotionally disturbed as Massimo is, and to have all of this power inside of you, and then also dealing with all of the various powers that the Unamens collected over their time, you know, basically ruling the planet. So it's a very intense feeling. It's something that it kind of fuels everything in his performance. So it's kind of a bigger moment. He's grappling with a lot. But you're right. He's talking to himself. He's like, you know, muttering and trying to figure out how to make Mama happy, because at this point it's overwhelmed his brain. He can't make proper decisions.
He also was crying every time, regardless of if
Which
he
was
was
pretty
angry.
remarkable.
It was amazing. He's angry or he's, you know, fighting, but he's got tears coming down his face.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
It's beautiful
murder
and scary at the same time.
immortality, and I was half expecting him to become some kind of like creature, but it seems like the power that was busting him up inside would have just made him eventually explode or something if Bo hadn't intervened with her little samurai sword.
Geraldine, come on. What kind of fans are you guys?
Listen, it's still not a full length. Geraldine is not a
You know
full
what?
length
I can't
samurai
even-
sword. She's
very
beautiful.
upsetting.
She's deadly. Okay, we appreciate her, but she was also used in the murder of one of our favorite characters.
I know.
There's a lot of emotions here. Emotions are running high, and I apologize for any slights that I may have
all right.
offered you or the fan base.
I forgive you.
Thank
and I
you.
hope they do too, for your sake.
I hope they do too.
Don't
Jeez
forgive him.
Louise. You don't have to. I think I'll be okay, unless they have a Geraldine copy that they want to stab me with. But I don't think that's. I think we're above that. I think we're past that fandom. Okay. So obviously, Bo is at the center of this prophecy. You know, Kenzi starts looking through all of these books that Rosette owned while she was still alive, and one of them explains that she needs to give up her heart. She needs to sacrifice her heart in order to close the sin vat, which, you know, Kenzi very smartly kind of keeps to herself and really figures it out on her own. At the time, I'm like, share the information, because I feel like it's something that like is like it's happened before on Lost Girl. I can't think of a specific instance where vital information was kept from someone that could have been used to form a better plan. But like, she's grieving so intensely and probably feels very alienated. Was it that simple? Did she realize that that's what her role was going to be in that moment, or was it just sort of like, I need to think about this before we give her this information?
I think it's been her journey of the season. You know, from the minute we pick up to the minute that we end, she's just trying to find her place, find her purpose. She's not okay being useless. She wants to help the people that she loves. That's the kind of friend she is, you know, loyal to the utmost degree. So I think because she's been searching for an answer all season long, I feel like when that book is in front of her and she reads that, it's just innate. She just has a great intuition, and she understands it pretty quickly, what she has to do.
Yeah. Tamsin keeps the secret to herself.
Well, Tamsin also thought that Bo had to tear out her own heart.
Yeah.
Right.
Which I'm really glad she did not share that information with Bo.
Yeah, I was
Hey, P.S. Here's your scalpel for later.
for later.
I don't know.
What do I need this for? You'll know. It's a thing.
Yeah.
We'll get there. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Bo and Dyson head to the Sin Vat, ready for battle. Bo has strengthened herself by feeding on Tamsin. which kind of like there's a fun little moment in there of first of all that she tastes happy, which I guess part of that is Raynor's death, which we haven't even gotten into yet, and then I don't know. I attributed part of it to her and Dyson hooking up because then he has a moment where, you know, he's ready to be fed on. She's like, oh, no, I took care of that. Tamsin's, I already fed on Tamsin. He's like, really?
Well, I mean, also, she's, Tamsin says that she has a new soul and that she's going to take Raynor and that she's going back to Valhalla and she's going to end her exile.
Yeah.
So I think that is also part of her happiness.
Yes. I think that's you're probably right. That's the main part of her happiness.
But also she got some.
Yes. So let's get into Raynor's death. All this buildup, right? 2 seasons of buildup. We meet the guy. We think he's going to be her father, not the father. They've fallen in love. Is Bo brainwashed? Is she crazy? We find out what really happens.
Is he the destiny?
Right. Is he her destiny? And then he's just straight up murdered before we get to have any of these questions answered. Like 20 minutes into the episode? Like he's just gone. Which makes Massimo even more dangerous. He's now got his forethought abilities. Which, like, okay, can we just rack up this scorecard here? Okay, Massimo is immortal. He's got forethought in battle, the power of 6 Unamens, and all of the people that they ever stole powers from ever. And he's crazy.
Right. And he wants to please his mother.
And he wants to please his mother, which might be the most dangerous thing of all.
Yeah.
So he's incredibly, incredibly dangerous. I don't know how many fans are going to mourn Raynor that heavily, especially in an episode where we also lost Kenzi. Oh, get it together, Lieberman. Get it together. Yeah.
How
did you feel,
say
Yael?
it. I hate to say it, but
Say it.
by this episode, I was over Raynor. I mean, I'm not saying that we shouldn't see him shirtless all the time. I'm just saying I was over the character, and I was like, well,
Yeah.
he's gone.
Let's
That's
just
nice.
cast him in bronze, and we'll have his bare chest
There you go.
to look on in the doll for years to come.
Oh, that sounds like a great idea.
You're imagining actually casting the real man in bronze,
Yeah.
but that's not a productive way to make a statue. I don't think so.
I'm not a statue maker.
I agree. You are not a sculptor is the name of that profession. Wow. Okay.
I'm a TV watcher.
I would have said the same thing.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
So meanwhile, Ebony, now human, still getting used to it.
Yeah, wedgies.
I know, which is not the worst of it. There's more stuff to come. Was it this episode or the last one where she was like, and I think I might be getting my period for the first time, she was furious?
That was the last one. This one, she's going through menopause,
Yeah.
which makes sense.
Well, she had a child. We don't know how old she is. I mean, she's thousands of years old.
Right.
To just be getting menopause now is a gift.
Yeah.
It's true. So she and Trick are chatting it up. And
She's drunk and hitting on
Hitting
him.
on
know.
him. Like, ooh la la.
And it's I'm going to say it's 50 to 55% working. I'm going to say he's just a little tempted.
I want to see that.
I think that would be
Trick doesn't get enough love.
He
Yeah.
doesn't.
You can't blame the
and
guy.
when he does, it's all off screen. So
It's also it also always looks very like appropriate, and I think that with Ebony it looks very inappropriate, and I want to see it.
we want to see a little action.
Yeah, we want some dirt. We want some
Ooh,
juice.
baby.
Okay, we want juice everywhere. Because here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Having Trick, who I'm going to call it, is a control freak. Think back to Blood King days, right? To have a wildly out of control, supremely inappropriate, ex-murderous, now human, as his, not wife to be, but just as the woman on his arm, could be a lot of fun plot-wise. He can't handle her, he can't control her, and worst of all, she's always going to be in a terrible mood because now she's human and she's not happy about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to see that show. It's like The Odd Couple, only better and sexier.
Right, but I want it as an 80s sitcom. I want it under those circumstances. Or I'll just take it as part of next season.
Yeah, tell Jay this.
Okay.
That's what we need.
All right, I'm gonna text him right now.
Yes. Okay, great. So they're trying to figure out what to do. She's hitting on him, and they realize, it's the smallest thing that can make the difference. Or what is the exact line that she?
It's the famous quote.
The smallest thing can cast the
largest shadow.
Yeah.
And they come to a silent agreement about what they need to do. And Ebony heads off to distract Massimo, while Trick heads to the battlefield with his trusty bow staff. Glad to see him in the thick of it. It's been one of the major plot points this year that Trick has been on the sidelines, that he hasn't been as helpful as he's been in the past, that he's been conflicted, that he's learning all this new stuff about himself. I mean, Yael, how do you feel about Trick at this point in the series?
I'm really glad that this episode we had him back. He's the Trick that we know and love. It was really hard this season where he won't answer any questions, he won't talk to anybody, but we have him back, and I like that they brought back the bow staff, which we saw in the episode where Bo goes into Dyson's memories, where we see him kick butt with the bow staff, and I was really happy that they brought that back.
Yeah, because the dude's got skills.
He's awesome.
Yeah, skills to pay the bills, and they don't all involve blood. That's important. It's important to know. Especially because he won't use his blood powers, because that's how a Garuda happens.
I was so worried that that's what Ebony was trying to get him to do.
To use the blood.
To use his blood to fix it.
Well, with all the blood talk that Bo was dealing with about the power of her blood, it's finally laid out for her where her different powers come from. I'm surprised that the show hasn't gone to try and have her use her blood to write something down. I don't know. Maybe...
Who knows?
Who knows? I'm just saying, how diluted can her Blood King blood possibly be?
Well, I think that they're not going to allow her, whether she thinks, oh, this is a great idea, I should try this. The Trick's going to be like, hey, haven't you learned from my mistakes yet?
No, not yet.
Well, not yet, but I mean, he's gonna ask.
Okay, fair enough.
Like a responsible grandfather.
Yes. All right, I want to talk about Dyson swearing fealty really quickly. We kind of got sort of mirror scenes with Dyson and Lauren this week. And listeners of the show will know that I keep harping on the show, in my mind, is heading towards a place where Lauren, Dyson, and Bo can kind of live in harmony.
This again?
Yeah, listen.
I've heard you talk about this before.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying, on a show like this, polyamory doesn't seem crazy.
Not at all.
It doesn't.
And
how do you pick? I mean, really.
You can't.
That's the question everyone asks.
And it's been one of the a major plot point this season of, they're both, I love both of them. They both love me. They're both great for different reasons. They're both frustrating for different reasons. I shouldn't have to pick. I shouldn't have to. What am I supposed to do? And seeing Dyson and Lauren become closer, now we have their two different approaches to letting Bo know how much they love her. He does it in this very formal, old school fashion where, she's a queen, he's swearing fealty, he'll do whatever, needs to be done, he'll always be by her side, which is, moving, but also like, I don't know, just a little too old-fashioned. And I think she knows it too when she's like, that's, you love me, that's why you need to serve with me, not for me. I don't want you to be my servant. I don't want you to lay your life down for me. I would do the same for you, stand as my equal, which is great. When she rescues Lauren later, we kind of see this script flipped a little bit, because she, is far more modern in the way that she's just, like, I love you, no formal declarations. But we need kind of a moment with both of our major romantic people. Love interests. See, it's not just you.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you feel about these scenes, both of you?
I really liked it. I think his old school Dysonness was great.
That's the most
descriptive. It was such a beautiful moment. It was so heartfelt, and it got me a little emotional.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
And then Lauren's was, you know, the way Lauren. They were just. It was just so Dyson-y and Lauren-y.
Right. It only served to further highlight what's great about them both and what's very different about them both. And both are very appealing for different reasons. So, you know, Bo leaves Dyson, Tamsin, and the crew ready to fight all these revenants that are coming out of the Sin Vat. A classic bit of Lost Girl repartee when, so she is, let's talk about this. Bo briefly gets overcome by all this dark energy. And she asked Dyson to do something, anything to stop it. So he kisses her, which for a hot second, I'm like, is this what the prophecy is referring to with like her heart is what would be to close the vat, you know, gather the people she loves around her? I don't know.
Are you suggesting an orgy?
That's not what I was suggesting. You're putting words in my mouth.
I just wanted to check if that's what you're suggesting.
I'm glad you're checking. Let's just get that out in the open.
We're talking about Lost Girl. This is important.
Okay.
It's very important.
I'm listening.
Well, we just talked about it.
So not an orgy.
Not an orgy.
A love circle of sorts.
Is a love fest of sorts.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
The more we all know. No, he kisses her. She's kind of back to normal. She's like, you need some new tricks. Because he does that a lot. And I thought it was funny just in terms of like, is she getting bored with the way that he kisses? Could anyone be bored with the way that Chris Holden-Ried kisses? I don't know.
Don't look at me.
Okay.
I wanted to answer.
Well, you did shoot that episode. Anyway. Yeah, so she's like, you need new tricks. Then she turns around and she's like, so how about a threesome? And he's just kind of like, oh, brother, talk about needing new tricks. Which to me was just so funny. So many puns on this show.
Yeah.
Glad we called it out.
Good.
So they're all fighting all of the revenants, and it's just all these warriors from different eras. Like we see a bunch of like World War I guys with like the sappers' helms, and we see some like Confederate and Union troops. And I thought I saw a red coat wandering around. And like, there's only 3 of them fighting. Maybe it's Tamsin using her Valkyrie abilities to make them fight each other.
Yeah, she has them doubt themselves.
Right. Meanwhile, Bo heads over to Massimo's to rescue Lauren.
I knew you'd come.
Yes. And deep chuckles from both of us. I always do. Deep chuckles.
It's true. I heard the chuckles.
I can't even. I need a second. Okay. So she goes to fight Massimo. Ebony shows up just in time for Bo to slip a knife around her throat.
Right.
Not part of the plan, but, you know, there's improvisation. There's a time and place for everything.
Yeah.
And frankly, Massimo deserves the heartbreak. And she does it, what I thought was very, very clever. She saps the chi, or I couldn't tell if she was sapping the chi or she gave more chi to Ebony to have him sap. Can you explain this scene, Yael?
Can I
to me?
explain the scene?
I
Yes,
would
can you
prefer.
explain it?
Can you explain it? I watched it.
Here's what I understand.
Okay.
You love when I come up with theories. So here's what I think happened.
Okay.
Great.
Okay. So first, Bo chucks the seed.
She sucks chi out of Massimo, which gives him helps him gain the ability to succubus someone, to suck chi.
Yes. So
Continue.
then she sucks chi, blows chi into Ebony, and then
You're making it blush.
I love that you're turning red. All right, so she blows chi into Ebony,
Okay. so
and then Ebony and Massimo somehow get stuck sucking and blowing.
sucking and blowing chi. He can't stop sucking her chi. Which
His mother's chi.
which, you know, is creepy and weird that he's getting it. And he just keeps on. He can't stop. And Bo taunts him, you know, that was the one thing I wasn't able to stop. Can you stop to save your own mother? I'm like, go you, cold-blooded.
Yeah.
Yeah. I loved this. And then he, you know, he sucks too much chi. and she basically she dies or she's close to it, and you know, Bo beats the crap out of him, or Lauren steals the twig of Zamora, crumbles it up, no longer immortal.
But first he asks her to save his mother.
To save his mother, which is very beautiful and fitting, and he's creepy, so we don't feel that bad. But we like Ebony, so we don't want her to die.
I thought we were losing Ebony.
For a hot second, I'm like, man, we are just dropping bodies everywhere, not knowing, not knowing what was to come. Sadness, and she saves Ebony, gives her just enough to breathe, and you know, gives Massimo what he deserves for everyone that he's hurt. Stabs him with our dear friend Geraldine, and justice is served. Although
finally,
I felt that I'm just like, Kenzi deserves to be here. Even if she didn't get to deliver the killing blow.
Always missing the good stuff.
We'll add that to the J text.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought when they had the twig, wouldn't it have been smart of Bo to give the twig back to Kenzi?
Timing, my dear, timing.
Yeah.
So that she would never, they would never be worried about her ever again?
Because the last heir of Zamora is dead, the twig, they mentioned its power is diminished.
Right.
So we don't even know how well it would have worked, frankly. If Lauren was able to crumble it up just like that, it seems pretty used up.
Whatever, I'm still heartbroken.
Okay, that's fair. We all are. All the fans are screaming, why? Why now? Why this? Why us? Which I would say is very selfish. But
we're a selfish group.
we are. We want what we like, and we want it all the time. But in any case, Bo leaves Lauren to take care of Ebony. She feels a little responsible for it. You know, she did make her human after all.
How did she do that?
Yeah, can you? I don't remember.
She delivered a serum.
Remind me.
She delivered a serum using a cunning series of physical and emotional techniques that she fed it to her through her vagina, and everyone had a great life because of it. It's legitimately one of the most creative, immature, and hilarious things I've ever seen. And I said it on the last episode of the show. Anything that I ever said about not wanting Bo to be with Lauren, out the window.
Out the window.
Out the window. Girl is badass and smart, and the fact that she went there over the moon.
Brownie points.
Yeah.
No, not brownie points. We didn't go there. And let's not. Let's stop that right there. We're going to squash that. We're going to ball it up. We're going to throw it away. Yeah. I'm getting a signal from the booth that's like, that's a no-no.
You took it there, not me. Let's just get that.
I just skirted around it. I noticed that it was there, and I mentioned it so that no one stepped in it. Okay? That's all that I did.
Moving on.
So, meanwhile, Kenzi is kind of psyching herself up for this big moment. And for a hot second, I was like, because it cuts from this Massimo fight to you only say two words. It's like destiny.
Booyah.
Booyah. And I'm like, was there more of this scene that was missing? Because it was just like a little thing until I realized the enormity of what she's about to do. And everyone watching, I'm assuming, because we did this, had a moment of like, no, what's going on? She's walking right through the battle, and like just like the look on your face, like the determination and the sadness, and it's a really beautiful moment. And honestly, it's very earned. Like this could have felt cheap. Do you know what I mean? Fans love this character so much. You know, in the hands of another set of writers, or in the hands of another actress, it could have felt like, you know, this show is doing this to us to shock us.
Just to shock you, yeah.
Right. But you're right. Kenzi has been on a journey for the whole series, and especially this season. And I think it's why we spent more time getting to know her and seeing her background, meeting her family, giving her, you know, everything that she wanted, only to have it ripped away. How did you feel? Did they give you any inkling at the start of the season that this was going to be, you know, a bigger season for you?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there was no way around it. I had to know what to expect so that I could really build the journey for her. And, you know, it was, there was a lot of suspense that was, you know, as we were building up to filming the last episode. And even, you know, episode 411 where Hale dies, that was so incredibly emotional. So it was like going from one heartbreaking thing to the next. It was, you know, it was challenging, but we had to go there.
Yeah. So when did they? So did they tell you that you were going to die?
I knew early on.
You knew early
yeah.
on. Okay.
What was going to happen?
And how did you feel about that?
I mean,
I know it's.
How can you feel? It was very. You know, it's strange. You do something for such a long time. We've been doing this show since. I guess since the pilot 5 years ago, and so our characters, they're so alive to us and to everybody, to all the fans. So when you know that this is coming and filming the scene, walking to the portal and looking back at Bo and Dyson and Trick, it was very emotional. You know, that there's a lot of emotion tied into it, not just what the character is feeling, but what I'm feeling.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It had to have been hard and.
Lots of tears.
Lots of tears.
Lots of tears.
Yeah. The tear quotient.
We were just like walking in the tears. It was it was flooding.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
it was just
for
like
like many episodes.
For many episodes.
It was just
Our
like the
whole
room we
studio
watched in.
was flooded.
Was just nonstop
bad.
tears. I'm trying to think of a joke because Noah's in theaters, but I can't. So we're just going to move on. Yeah. Obviously, when you give Bo that hug and you give her Geraldine, you say, you're going to be okay, you're going to be fine. That's when she slips Hale's engagement ring into her pocket. Bo finds it too late and runs as fast as she possibly can, but doesn't make it quite in time. As Kenzi says goodbye and absorbs all of this energy, Sinvat shuts, and we're all reduced to soupy puddles of mess.
Yep.
All the revenants are gone, and damn. So Kenzi had it worked out in her head that this was her part of the prophecy because Raynor getting killed meant that that Tamsin got her soul back, that she had a ticket to Valhalla, and that she could take Kenzi there, and maybe, just maybe, she could see Hale again. Again, tears. Huge. Oh, man.
Lots of pain.
I know. But pain is important. I mean,
It is.
Obviously, we have no idea how long the show is going to run, but it feels like a midpoint in the series. I feel like it's changing the dynamic in a lot of ways, not just through the deaths, but in the style of storytelling, in the fact that our chief antagonists this year, our big issues, are really familial issues, issues of family, issues of love, big choices. And the world just keeps getting darker. The fact is, there is now no formal government over the Fey world. It doesn't exist. We have our two leaders, one of which, Ebony, is now human. She can't rule the dark. They'd kill her. I'm surprised that they haven't already tried. You know, that just makes sense to me.
Yeah.
But I feel like this show, you know, is spinning off into something very different from where it started. It's very complex. I have a lot of excitement about seeing where it's going to go because I couldn't tell anyone. Well, I have a prediction, but I'll save that for the end.
Okay.
Yeah. So her wings sprout out. She carries Kenzi off to, we assume, Valhalla, and Dyson finds Tamsin passed out in front of the snowy gates of Valhalla, I assume. And she's, you know, obviously distressed, panicked. She tells Dyson, Bo cannot find the other hell shoe. You can't let her. And then she, you know, doesn't pass out, but she doesn't get into more detail than that. So, I mean, what do we have next season? We have this mystery of these hell shoes. We still have the Pyrrhus locked up in hell. We don't know how much of his energy Bo absorbed while the sin vat was open, and whether or not that's going to cause something within her. We have this other mark that he's placed upon her. There's a lot of stuff going on. Have I missed anything from this episode that either of you want to discuss? Because I'm sure that I did. So much is happening.
No.
Okay.
You were
Well,
good. You covered a lot.
okay.
He's
Good.
He's
Thank you.
great at this.
He's on it.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, then I'm just gonna say let's call this predictions. 'Cause
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
thank you. Because at this point we're just gonna be chatting. Hopefully, as long as we have. I don't know how much time we have left. But also talking about where we hope the series will go. I'm just gonna say this is what I pitched out before I even knew that Kenzi was the one who was going to die. I thought Raynor was going to sacrifice himself for Bo, and she would have to use the Hell Shoes to go into Hell to save him. I'm going to make that same call and say either not everything went smoothly in trying to get Kenzi to Valhalla, now she's in Hell, and these Hell Shoes, only one person can walk into Hell and bring someone back. That's what I'm thinking. I could be incredibly wrong about that. What do you think, Yael?
I agree. I think that's exactly. I think Kenzi was like, here's what's going to happen next season. I think that was what happened, and it was great. I refuse to accept the death of Kenzi. Refuse.
Okay, that's a it's a very
word.
strong word.
Refuse.
Okay. Do you need something? Do you need a break?
No, I need Kenzi back.
Okay.
And I just want to comment that Kenzi looked fierce.
She looked fierce.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank
Fierce.
you.
Yeah.
That's very
It's a
sweet.
great outfit. Yeah.
Thanks.
It's one of my favorites.
I was like, this got to be good. The walking to my death.
Right?
I got to look good.
It's going to be the most iconic moment, potentially, of your whole run.
Like Ebony says, you know, if I'm going to go out, I got to look fabulous. So I borrowed that analogy from her. Yeah.
Excellent. That's my prediction.
The other thing that was brought up once, I believe last episode, not this one, was like not that they told Bo, you're not just the queen, you're the one, which has been said a few times but remains very, very cryptic, Matrix level cryptic.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get some explanation of that next season.
I think also there's going to hopefully be the play up of, as we were saying, there's no government right now for the
Right.
Fae. She is going to lead.
That's a bold prediction.
I am
thinking
full of bold predictions,
I'm thinking it's anarchy in city.
which we'll get to.
Okay, yeah. I have to ask.
Is it
Do you
time?
know what city this show takes place in?
I'm afraid to find the answer.
I know.
Well, it's okay if they just never told anyone, but it's never said anywhere in the entire series.
I think that's the point.
Okay.
Unless I
That it
missed something
Right.
over these last 5 years.
that it could conceivably be anywhere.
It's a modern city.
Okay.
That's
So
all
it's
we
still
know.
called City.
It's still called
Yeah.
city. That's fine with me.
That's what I have written there. City.
City,
City.
question mark.
Yes. Now we have some fan
We
questions.
do. One of the fan questions is, will you be back next season?
Which,
Question mark.
yeah.
So
If I tell you, I have to kill you. And I don't want to kill you.
yeah, we need
Or
you
the
to be
fans.
fans.
Yeah. I refuse to see you killed,
Yes.
fans. We got one from @sci-fi_slasher. Brian. I don't know. Everyone sent them to you because
You're
you're the
welcome.
most popular.
That's true.
So I don't know which one Brian
Of course
sent.
she is. I mean, look at her killer outfit. She's channeling Kenzi today. Can we
I'm
just
Kenzi.
acknowledge that?
I'm wearing a vest. Okay.
You
trying to
look
be
great.
Dyson.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh,
You look great.
I was informed that I had to wear a vest.
That's true. I'm not sure who wrote which questions, but we have a handful. So if you could pick your Fae powers, if Kenzi was going to become Fae, what would she want to be? Because we assume that
The fireworks
Were
powers,
not her choice.
her Jubilee powers
Yeah.
were not.
Those were fun for 30 seconds.
right.
Goodness. I always say I want to be like Vex because it must be so cool to like control people and get them to do what you want. And if you can stop a whole army, then hey, that seems cool. Trick goes to visit Wei Ling. I think that would be a cool power if you could force people to tell you the truth, even the truth that they themselves don't know. Yeah, I think those are my top two.
Those are great.
Those are good choices.
We also have who would you want to guest star in the show, and what Fae powers would you want
Dream
them to have?
guest star.
Oh.
Like George Takei.
Yes. Giant
awesome.
George Takei snake.
We have been lucky this year with awesome guest stars. That's just such a hard question because the list goes on and on. I always wanted Al Pacino to play my stepdad. Al, if you're listening,
Hey,
we'd
man.
love to have you.
I think that's a great one.
Right? I think Adam Driver. Do you guys know Adam
I
Driver?
love Adam Driver.
He's such a phenomenal actor, and I think he would make a really badass Fae. So that would be cool.
Yeah.
Again, the list goes on, but
Yeah.
but
Make him the lost Mesmer. Make him,
You know?
Vex's long lost brother.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
that'd be great.
Well, I mean, if we do wind up going down into hell, there's always a very good chance we bring something we don't like back with us. Just saying. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you've been doing the show for about, 5 years. So, what was your reaction when you first read the pilot back in the day? I'm trying. It's been a while since I watched the pilot.
I know.
I'm trying to
It's
even remember.
a Fae world.
Actually,
I know that's the name of it.
the day I wrapped season 4, I went and I watched the pilot just to go back to our roots and do a full circle. And it was so interesting after a really emotional day of work to watch it again and just remember where we all came from, both as people and as our characters. And it's amazing. I mean, it's amazing how we've all grown, and it was very strange to watch it and remember.
Yeah.
You've spoken a little bit about how it was to build and prepare for all the crazy turmoil this season. What kind of things do you think about before watching the love of your life die?
I mean, dead animals and things. No. You know what? To be honest, I don't know. Whatever I had to use in the moment, and again, we're such a family that when we have to film scenes like that, you don't have to look outside of that situation too much. But there was definitely a lot of crying and a lot of emotion, and it was exhausting. But it had to be done. And I'm sorry I didn't answer your question about what I thought when I saw the pilot episode. I actually had no idea what phase were. And as I was reading the script, I was like imagining these characters that I was reading about with like fairy wings. And I was like, this is a very odd concept for show, but it's kind of cool. And so to my, pleasant surprise, everyone was much cooler than just, flying
Right.
around with fairy wings. And I thought it was really different because I'd never heard of those creatures. I thought the characters were really cool. And at that point, I had never really done comedy, definitely not a lot of it. And so I was nervous about playing this character, about being the comedic relief. So that's been a whole wonderful journey in and
It's
of
got to
itself.
feel very gratifying to know how much the fans love, what you bring to the show. And a lot of that is that comic relief, and I think you're really brilliant at it.
That's very sweet. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I agree with what he said.
Well, I'm lucky. We have great writers who give me, funny stuff to say. So I can't take all the credit. But it's definitely this show and this character have made my love of comedy just really grand. So
Good.
yeah.
So you have the most badass costumes on the show. Can you tell us a little bit about where the costumes are coming from and what are your favorite pieces to wear?
Well, when we originally started the show, the woman who created the look of it, her name is Ann Dixon, and she is an incredibly talented, gifted costume designer, and I think she breathes so much life into our characters. I feel like for Kenzi, 50% of who she is the clothes that she has on, and the disguises that she gets to wear. So Anne really created a magnificent world in that sense, and so many of the pieces are custom made. Dyson's, leather vests and all the leather that Vex wears and his crazy, jackets and thongs and chaps.
bondage gear, yeah.
Bondage gear. So it's always been a very collaborative process. And again, it's just been like an evolution. How can we push the bar every new season that comes? I never want Kenzi to stay the same. I always want her to keep growing and evolving. And so it's been a really fun ride of you know, gathering images and inspiration and just seeing how we can really make her the coolest, baddest chick around.
Mm-hmm. Now, was the scene you walking to the Sinbad, was that your last day on the show, or what was the last day?
It wasn't, but it felt like it was. What was the last day?
Yeah, can you walk us through it?
Actually, the last day was the scene in Ebony's bedroom, where the Morgan comes in and I get to
sock her right in the face.
Right in the face.
It was beautiful.
Thank you. That was my last scene and last day.
Oh, man.
Which is interesting because, you know, walking to the Sinbad, I was like, this feels like it's it, but no, I got to be up at 5 in the morning and do this all over again.
And we got to see you dance this season.
Yeah.
Finally. Is there any other, not to say that you're coming back or not coming back,
Right,
but
right.
is there some other skills or talents you'd want to show off on the show?
Oh, God, I haven't thought of that. I've been lucky so far. I've gotten to play the drums. The tango was like just the most amazing experience, and it was so cool to see Chris and KC go from not guys with 2 left feet. I got to give them more credit than that. They are very smooth. But just to you know, to have them accomplish something like that, they didn't think they could. I didn't think I could. I mean, it was a real bonding experience, and we were lucky because we had someone who was, you know, kicking us in the butt. And when we were all like, no, it hurts, or we can't do that, it was like, no, you're going to do it. And we're going to create this really awesome piece and kind of do something that not a lot of people do on television, and not have any dance doubles and do it all ourselves. So that was very cool. Did I answer your question? Sorry, I went on a little tango
It was
ramble
a
there.
great tangent. But is there anything else
Other
you want to
skills.
showcase?
I always want to fight more. I'm a big fan of doing stunts and stunt choreography. So if we could like hype that up and have me like, I don't know.
Hey, man.
I don't know.
You go to hell, you learn some stuff.
Right?
You got to defend yourself,
Yeah.
okay?
It's hot down there. People are moody.
Yeah, listen.
They will attack you.
Yeah.
And you need to be ready.
You need to protect your skin, your hair.
Not the face.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of fire going on, so if someone's got shade, you're going to throw some shade, or worse, throw a rock at them.
Yeah.
We're off the reservation. Okay. Now, in your dream version of the show, how would you like to see it end? Have you ever thought about it?
To be honest, I haven't.
You know, there's...
I do feel really bad for Kenzi.
Yeah.
You know, it was hard watching that episode and watching Bo come to Kenzi's grave, and it was all just very surreal and strange. So I just want Kenzi to be happy. You know, she's such an incredible person with strength out of this world and courage out of this world. And so I feel like she deserves love and deserves wherever she may be, wherever she ends up. I just want her to, you know, feel like she has a place.
To be at peace.
To be at peace, yeah.
Yeah.
I think she deserves that.
Yeah, and honestly, I think if Bo doesn't wind up with anyone, I would be just as happy. Her and Kenzi in the convertible drive off into the
Thank
sunset.
you.
That to me,
Okay.
that's the ending.
I like that.
Good.
I changed my answer. I'm going with that.
Yes, let's do it. All right, we have to wrap up, unfortunately, but I want to thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for
been
having me.
An absolute blast, and again, congratulations on a fantastic season, a fantastic body of work. It's been a pleasure watching you.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Thank you, guys.
Yael, where can the people find you?
The people can find me online at yael.tv. That's yael.tv. And on yael.tv, you'll find multiple interviews with this one right here.
Yeah.
You can also find me on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Google Plus at Yael Tygiel, YAELTYGIEL.
Okay, and Ksenia, where can
Yes.
the people find you?
People can find me on Twitter at Ksenia Solo on
Okay.
Twitter.
Great. And you can find me on Twitter at Matt Lieberman. That's MATTLIEBERMAN. You can also find any videos, AfterBuzz TV, SourceFed, or my own personal stuff on my YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/Matthew D. Lieberman. New shows coming up in the spring. Orphan Black Mad Men's coming back for season 7. Playing House on the USA is a fun new comedy. You should check it out. So excited about that. Thank you again for joining us. It's been a blast. And we will see you next season. Good night.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Feel awkward that we're
See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.